Good afternoon. Welcome to the March 5th edition of Sports on Sunsets. I'm Hope Solo.
Happy birthday, Pudge.
The reason we're going to chat about sports today, something happened within the last few days from a team that most people normally don't like at all, but it still kind of struck me. Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, granted a 3-year extension to Tom Brady. It's an extension that, granted, players get cut in the NFL all the time, but Kraft says that's not the way we're going to do things. This contract is going to play out, and it will end when Brady is 40.
Okay.
So, in theory, provided that what they're saying is true, Brady's going to be a career Patriot. The reason Kraft did it, aside from, of course, the fact that Belichick and Brady put the Patriots on the map, Kraft specifically said, I don't want to ever see this become like Joe Montana leaving San Francisco, Emmitt Smith leaving Dallas, Brett Favre leaving Green Bay, Peyton Manning leaving Indianapolis. And that caught me. Because in the NFL, we do see players who are not only the face of the franchise just for a couple of years, but are synonymous with the franchise decades later.
Right.
And yet they leave.
Yeah.
Which is very strange. I was wondering then about that impact, because the fact that, I mean, look, and why this seems to be weirder in the NFL than in any other league. Sure, players, they leave teams in other leagues, but it doesn't seem weird when that happens, with the possible exception of Jordan playing for the Wizards. But it seems very strange in the NFL. Why do you think that is?
Well, I believe the reasoning is that in football, people have to learn complex playbooks, right?
Okay.
And so a player leaving to go to another team after playing under a certain system for, say, 7, 8 years, 9 years, then going to another team where they have to learn another system. I'm not even talking about when people have changed offensive or defensive coordinators. I'm just talking about like the Bill Walsh years, right?
Okay.
The Bill Walsh Seifert years, Montana's there, and then Montana goes to Kansas City to another system entirely, and you see what happens. That's why players don't usually leave.
I'm not so sure though, because it just seems a little stranger to me. I've been like racking my brain with this because look, Peyton Manning got the Broncos to the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Favre got after he left Green Bay, he got the Minnesota Vikings to the NFC Championship game. And Joe Montana, none of these teams won Super Bowls, mind you, after they left.
Right. Because the system is important.
Yeah, the system is important, but I'm just talking about a gut. I'm not a big emotional guy, so to speak, but this gut emotional reaction. The idea of Jerry Rice ever wearing a Denver Bronco jersey, or Tim Brown wearing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My gut feeling is this, just to bounce this off you, the reason that it feels weird is that maybe more so than any other sport, we identify. It's one of the few times where men are openly emotional in the United States, is regularly emotional, is in football. And you link that to these players, even more so than in baseball. And the other reason I would think is because of the fact that there aren't as many trades and free agency isn't nearly as prevalent. So Albert Pujols could leave St. Louis and go to Anaheim, and that's a big deal, but it's not shocking. Manny Ramirez playing in Dodger blue after leaving Boston, it was popular for a while in LA, but it wasn't shocking. So I'm thinking it might be a combination of free agency, the different form of free agency, the lack of trades, and the emotion that we as men put into football.
It's not just men. It's the entire. Had Barry Sanders, I know people say Like, it's come out that he didn't want to trade, that he was just retired playing. But back then, had he asked for a trade and the Lions traded him, or had he asked for his release and they released him and he went and played for Green Bay, everyone in Detroit would hate Barry Sanders to this day. Instead, they hate Bobby Ross.
Well, they really should hate Wayne Fonts.
Yeah.
As a player, we're talking about most of the people that we've mentioned so far in that list of franchise players, synonymous franchise players, leaving. They leave at the tail end of their careers, and some of them had nothing left.
Not all of them.
Some of them, right. Some had nothing.
As Reggie White left Philadelphia,
yes,
right in the middle.
Right. Well, what I'm thinking of is like Emmitt Smith having nothing in the tank. Brown
he had 1 year left.
Brown had nothing left. Rice had nothing left. Go ahead.
Are you saying Rice had nothing left when he went to Oakland?
No. He went after when he left Oakland, and he had a cup of coffee with Seattle and Denver, and said,
right.
"Yeah, I know, pun not intended, Seattle coffee." But you see where I'm going. There was something I read back in the day called the watermelon effect.
Okay.
For the way teams are run. It's like the best teams, what they do, you have a nice big slice of watermelon, and you want the good part, and then you leave that little tiny bit left for everybody else. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, I realize where Kraft is coming from, but why possibly give that guy an extension and not let him go at the age of 37 and move on with your life? What are the odds of Tom Brady leading the Patriots to a Super Bowl at age 37, 38, 39, or 40?
How old was Unitas? That's what everybody's looking at. Unitas got to the Super Bowl, I think, 39? 39 or 40?
But that's how many Super Bowls have we had? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, now Gannon was pretty up there in years when he got the Raiders to the Super Bowl and they got smoked.
Well,
it wasn't necessarily his.
But I think what they're looking at is the consistency. Like, his offensive line has always protected Tom Brady, outside of that 1 year where somebody threw his leg in the first game. But other than that, they protect Tom Brady. He's going to be nice and healthy by the time 40 rolls on.
So what you're saying is that it's a gamble that you, if you were running the Patriots, would be willing to take.
Yeah, you have to keep the guy that you credit to giving you Super Bowl.
Well, then what makes Tom Brady different than, say, Brett Favre, Montana, or Peyton Manning?
Well, Montana had Steve Young waiting behind him. Peyton Manning knew the writing was on the wall as soon as he had to miss that year, and everybody was talking about Andrew Luck. Who's the third guy you said?
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre had Rodgers. The key is people that are going to be Hall of Famers. Maybe Andrew Luck. It's too early to tell, but Rodgers, Hall of Famer. Steve Young, Hall of Famer. These were the people waiting behind these legendary quarterbacks. You know, so you had people waiting in the wings, and they're not going to wait forever. They might do what Brett Favre did. Brett Favre left Atlanta with Mike Holmgren to go to Green Bay, and then Atlanta misses out on a Hall of Fame quarterback.
The other hand, though, is why, how much.
Oh, wait, sorry. Did he leave Atlanta or San Francisco?
Which one?
Holmgren.
Holmgren did coach in San Francisco.
Oh, so he left San Francisco. I thought he left Atlanta. Right.
On the other hand, we were talking about the watermelon effect and how, you want to get somebody in the prime.
Yeah.
And jettison them when there's only a little bit left.
Right.
On the other hand, again, there is that emotional attachment. Even Kraft admitted that he had on, quote, his fan cap on when he created this extension. How much does that matter, or is that simply a case of emotion overriding everything else, or most everything?
I am of the opinion that he made the right call, because the Bears did the same thing with Walter Payton. They didn't force him out until that last year, really. that his 13th season, that's when they're like, Walter, you got to train the next guy because we can't keep giving you 300 carries a year. So they had him train Neil Anderson basically to take the job. Mm-hmm. And that's essentially what's going to happen with Tom Brady. Around 38, 39, they're going to draft a young guy, and they're going to have Tom Brady train him. And that's going to be the guy that takes over Tom Brady's job.
So, yeah, but what I'm saying is, with regards to the not necessarily the Patriots, but overall,
yeah,
how much of the whole thing becomes a little bit too emotional and not say, hey, we got to make a cold, calculated decision here
how much
for the betterment of the franchise. You're saying, because Montana gone. Manning gone, and it was like, hey, we're sorry, business is business.
Right.
But this is the occasion when emotion trumps the bottom line. Apparently.
Well, no, it actually doesn't, because again, he's leading them to playoffs. It's not like he's leading them to 8-8 seasons. They're going to the playoffs. They're going deep into the playoffs, and they're going to Super Bowls. I can see if they weren't winning. They're winning still, and winning beats everything in football. If Trent Dilfer can get an extension, if Joey Flacco can get an extension, 6 years, $120 million, and people regard him as just a strong arm, but he got an extension because he won. You win the Super Bowl, you go to the playoffs, you keep money coming into the owner's pockets, they will reward you.
Why don't you tell them what's on your mind, brother?
What's on my mind? We've made no secret of the fact that I like women's sports. I like watching women's soccer, softball sometimes, swimming definitely, and I adore women's basketball. For the last 3.5 years, I've talked to everybody that will listen about Brittany Griner and how she's going to be a great player. And people have debated me on the merits of, hey, it's still women's sports. Now, they've at least said this to my face, or they've said it to other people, but you know who these people are. Mm-hmm. The people that are online talking shit.
Like me?
No, I mean,
actually, I don't talk shit about Brittany.
Yeah, but people online talking shit about her and other women, like at least when most of the guys like
Don Imus.
When Don Imus called Rutgers a bunch of nappy-headed hoes, you at least knew it was Don Imus. These people that are online saying, "Oh, that's a man. Oh, she got a penis. Oh, that's a man." Grow the fuck up. I hope one day she gets enough money to go to each and every one of your houses and beat the fuck out of you. Because you're all a bunch of children. I saw that shit in a movie. I saw that shit in the Silent Bob movie. Mm-hmm. Silent Bob and Jay's Strike Back, where they went around town, like they caught planes everywhere because they had enough money finally to go to everybody's house that was bad-mouthing them. And they beat the fuck out of these people. And that's what needs to happen to each and every last one of you. You're online under hidden names and you're anonymous and nobody knows who the fuck you are. When I make a comment on a message board, everyone knows it's Jerry Paul because everyone, like I put my picture on the icon thing, the profile, my picture is there. My name is there. My email is there. If I badmouth somebody, you know it's me because I'm not afraid. You're scared children. You're not grown-ups. Be a grown man. If you want to say somebody has a penis, put your face and name to it. Cowards.
I'm not afraid to say what I'm about to say because my face is attached to it. As you know, I have a blog of my own, but it does have my name attached to it. And earlier today, when I had reached 500 posts, I decided to celebrate by putting up some attractive women just yeah. And I had mentioned in passing, gee, this one looks a little bit too much like Hope Solo, but whatever. Next thing you know, my email beeps and there's another Hope Solo update. The 9/11 tapes were released from the night. The 9/11 tapes were released from the night before Hope Solo married her husband, former NFL tight end Jeremy Stevens, because on the night before the nuptials, police were summoned to the residence and they arrested Jeremy Stevens for allegedly beating the holy hell out of Hope Solo. The 9/11 tapes are kind of are marginally funny. The operator asked the caller who's doing what, and the caller said, "We won't go there." And the police also said on the tape that the guy specifically said, "I can't tell you because," this is a paraphrase, "I can't tell you because everybody's going to lie about Jeremy Stevens." By the way, the caller was Hope Solo's brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now here's the upshot. I don't like people getting assaulted. I mean, it's not something that I take great pleasure in. And I know that for the most part, when we hear about a woman getting assaulted, that it just kind of drives us gutturally in the gut region that this is wrong, this shouldn't happen. Can we just acknowledge she had it coming? I don't mean she deserved it. I'm not saying she deserved it. If you're going to deny, if you are going to deny it, if you're going to deny it, the next time, it's the whole story of the boy, or in this case, the female soccer goalie who cried wolf. I know, I put my face to it, blame me. I don't like it any more than you do. I really don't. It's like, look, Rihanna went back to Chris Brown, right?
I knew it.
I'm not in favor of it. I don't care how deep I'm digging the grave. I don't care. How are we supposed to protect people who aren't going to admit that they're the ones who got assaulted by somebody?
I agree. That's a valid point.
And if you're not going to admit it, when the people who are paid to protect you say, he did it, didn't he? That's what that's why we're here, right? And you deny it, the next time it happens, and there will be a next time,
so the way you're thinking is this. As far as spousal abuse goes,
I'm not in favor of it. I didn't say I was in favor of it.
Fool me once, shame on me. Because it only happened one time.
But the guy's been in jail repeatedly.
Well, he's a football player. What do you expect?
Here's the sad thing. As much as you know how much people are going to hate me for that opinion, here's the sad thing. You know I'm right. If you go back with somebody who has attacked you, if you don't tell the people, yeah, that guy did it, it will happen again.
What's it called?
And why should I? And why?
Stockholm syndrome.
The guys with guns and badges were right there.
I have no debate. I'm just laughing because
nobody understood the argument.
he said that shit.
Me. I'm not happy about it.
She had to come. He said she had to come.
Now, I didn't even mention all the stuff that she did when she was playing for the soccer team that pissed all her teammates off.
Because she's selfish on the soccer field and talk shit.
No, that's not what I said.
She had to come.
Didn't say that.
I'm sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, I drew it on your back.